Behind locked gates, where Jews were forbidden to walk after sunset, a young man sat counting ancient coins by candlelight. The year was 1760, and Mayor Amschel Rothschild was trapped in Frankfurt's Jewish ghetto. But Mayer saw what others could not. While his neighbors dreamed of escape, he studied power. Not the power of kings or armies, but the power of money. His father's lesson echoed every day. A coin is never just a coin. It's compressed history, compressed power. Learn to read metal, and you learn to read men. By age 20, Mayer had opened his own rare coin dealership under a crimson sign, Rothschild, the Red Shield. Then came the moment that changed everything. Prince Wilhelm of Hanau needed a specific medieval coin. Only one dealer had it, Mayer Rothschild. Their first meeting lasted 7 minutes. Mayer didn't grovel. He educated the prince through knowledge. Wilhelm had never met anyone like him. The prince bought the coin, then another, then asked Mayer to handle money transfers. Trust was the only currency that truly mattered. While other merchants fought over pennies, Mayer made an insane decision. He would send his 5 sons to 5 different European capitals: London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, Frankfurt. One family, 5 thrones. Late at night, Mayer drew maps and wrote letters. He saw the future. Europe would always fight wars, and wars always needed financing. His wife whispered, "They will never accept us. We are Jews." Mayer looked up, eyes burning. "Then we will become so indispensable they cannot refuse us." By 1770, Mayer was no longer just a coin dealer. He was the prince's financial agent. But this was just the beginning, because those 5 sons would do something no family in history had ever done: become the central bank of Europe itself. 1798. Mayer Rothschild stands before his 5 sons. What he tells them sounds insane. "Nathan, you go to London. James to Paris. Salomon, Vienna. Karl, Naples. Amschel, you stay in Frankfurt. 5 cities. 5 sons. 1 banking network spanning Europe." His sons stare in disbelief. Leave everything? Go where they're outsiders with no connections? "Precisely," Mayer responds. "That's why it will work. No one else is doing this. That is our advantage." Nathan Rothschild understands first. At 21, he's the boldest. When do I leave for London? Within 2 years, Nathan arrives in England with almost nothing. He starts in textiles, but his real business is information. He writes to his brothers daily. Prices, politics, wars. Every piece of data flows through the family network. James heads to Paris during Napoleon's rise. Revolution means governments need money. Salomon takes Vienna. Karl controls Naples. Amschel remains the Frankfurt hub. This is their secret weapon: carrier pigeons and coded messages. While government couriers take weeks, Rothschild pigeons fly in hours. Information becomes profit. But there's something else. Blood. These aren't partners who might betray each other. These are brothers who trust completely. In 1812, Mayer dies. But the machine accelerates. He left them a system and one rule: the family must remain united, always. The 5 brothers gather at his grave and make a pact. They will marry their children to each other to keep the fortune undivided. By 1815, the 5 Rothschild banks are the most powerful financial network in the world, and they're about to prove it. June 18th, 1815. Napoleon versus Wellington. Winner takes Europe. In London, Nathan Rothschild stands on the stock exchange floor. Every trader is terrified. If Napoleon wins, British bonds will crash. But nobody knows who's winning, except Nathan does. Because while the British government relies on slow couriers, Nathan has carrier pigeons and agents at every critical point. At dawn, a Rothschild agent watches the French retreat. Minutes later, he's racing to a waiting boat. Hours later, Nathan knows. Wellington won. Napoleon is finished. Nathan possesses the most valuable information in Europe. The government won't know for 24 hours. According to legend, Nathan walks to his pillar and starts selling British bonds. Heavily, frantically. The room notices. Nathan Rothschild is selling? That means Wellington lost. Britain is doomed. Panic erupts. Everyone rushes to sell. British bonds collapse. Fortunes are destroyed in minutes. Then, at rock bottom, Nathan gives a different signal. Buy everything. Quietly. Hours later, official news arrives. Wellington won. British bond prices explode. And Nathan now owns massive British debt, purchased at catastrophic prices. The profit is astronomical, over £1 million in a day. But it's not just about money. Nathan just demonstrated something terrifying. The Rothschilds know what's happening before kings do. From this moment, every government understands. You don't fight the Rothschilds. You work with them. Nathan writes to his brothers that evening, "Information is worth more than gold, but timing is worth more than anything." 1820. The Napoleonic Wars are over. Europe is bankrupt. Governments owe staggering amounts, and their lenders are ruined or terrified. There's only one family with enough capital to finance entire nations, the Rothschilds. The calls come from Prussia, then Austria, then Britain. Within 5 years, the Rothschilds are primary lenders to nearly every major European government. But they're smart. Nathan funds Britain. James funds France. Salomon funds Austria. If countries go to war, both sides borrow from different Rothschild brothers. The family wins regardless. This creates something unprecedented, a financial power that transcends borders. The Rothschilds aren't British or French. They're Rothschilds. 1825. Britain needs £5 million immediately. Nathan organizes it in 48 hours. Speed is the new power. 1830. Revolutions sweep Europe. But the Rothschild banks remain standing. They loan to whoever wins. Both sides need financing. Then comes their most audacious deal. 1869. Egypt offers to sell Suez Canal shares. Britain wants them, but Parliament is out of session. Prime Minister Disraeli needs £4 million overnight. There's only one man, Lionel de Rothschild, Nathan's son. How much time do you need? Lionel is eating grapes. He pauses 2 seconds. What is your security? The British government. You shall have it. £4 million approved in 5 minutes. Britain controls the Suez Canal. The Rothschilds financed it. This is the power Mayer dreamed of. Railways across Europe, Rothschild financed. French industrialization, Rothschild capital. Gold mines, Rothschild investment. By 1850, the family fortune exceeds most countries' treasuries. They own palaces, collect art, throw parties for emperors. But with wealth comes conspiracy theories. People whisper the Rothschilds control everything, start wars for profit. Some is anti-Semitic nonsense, but some is uncomfortably close to truth. When you finance every side, know secrets before governments, and have prime ministers asking you for money, you're not just a banker. You're a shadow government. By the mid-19th century, the Rothschild name carries weight beyond banking. They're not just rich. They're a phenomenon. Salomon's Vienna palace rivals the emperor's. James hosts Paris parties where kings meet artists. Lionel becomes the first Jewish member of British Parliament. But this creates enemies. Aristocrats who've held power for generations suddenly borrow from a family they consider beneath them. The resentment is real. Conspiracy theories begin. Pamphlets. Rumors. By 1840, entire books claim the Rothschilds secretly control every government, orchestrate wars for profit. Some claims are pure anti-Semitic fantasy. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The Rothschilds do have unprecedented influence. They do know state secrets. They do profit from conflicts. When Nathan died in 1836, his wealth took years to calculate. His funeral was attended by dukes and ministers. For a Jew from a ghetto, this was unthinkable 50 years earlier. 1848. The spring of nations, revolutions topple monarchies across Europe. What happens when governments you financed are overthrown? The answer: you finance the new governments. The Rothschilds don't care about ideology. They care about stability. This pragmatism saves them, but fuels more theories. How do they always survive? How do they always win? The answer is simpler than conspiracies. Information, diversification, and willingness to work with anyone who repays debts. By 1860, the Rothschilds are elevated to nobility in multiple countries. Baron de Rothschild, Baron von Rothschild. The ghetto walls are long gone, but suspicion intensifies. The more successful they become, the more people believe they're pulling strings. Every crisis, every war, people search for the Rothschild connection. The truth is more boring. They're brilliant bankers with an exceptional network who happen to be in the right place repeatedly. They're not omnipotent. They're just better at banking than everyone else. But perception is reality. When people believe you control everything, they act accordingly. Your name alone moves markets. This is their greatest achievement and greatest burden. They escape the ghetto beyond imagination, but they can never escape the shadow of their own success. So what happened to the Rothschilds? The 20th century brought challenges they'd never faced. World War I devastated their network. The Russian Revolution confiscated Eastern assets. World War II struck directly. The Nazis seized properties, imprisoned family members. Even untouchable power has limits. After 1945, the world transformed. Central banks grew stronger. International institutions emerged. The age of private dynasties financing nations began to fade. Today, Rothschild & Co. still exists as a successful investment bank. The family is still influential, estimated worth $400 billion collectively. But they're no longer the power they once were. So why does their story still matter? Because the lessons are timeless. Lesson 1. Information is the ultimate advantage. Mayer understood this in 1760. Nathan proved it at Waterloo. Today we call it data analytics. Whoever knows first wins first. Lesson 2. Networks are more valuable than individual genius. 5 brothers in 5 cities sharing everything. Today's successful entrepreneurs understand this. Build your network before you need it. Lesson 3. Diversification isn't just smart, it's survival. The Rothschilds financed every side because concentration is risk. When one position fails, others succeed. Lesson 4. Trust matters. The Rothschilds' advantage was blood, complete trust in an era of betrayal. Whether family or partnerships, absolute trust creates opportunities others can't access. Lesson 5. Adaptability beats tradition. When revolutions came, they financed the new order. Rigidity kills empires. Flexibility extends them. But here's the final lesson. Power attracts suspicion. The Rothschilds' past success made them targets. Conspiracy theories, resentment, scrutiny. These weren't bugs. They were features of being at the top. The Rothschild story is about refusing to accept limitations. Mayer was born in a locked ghetto, forbidden from most professions. He died as advisor to princes. His sons built something unprecedented, a multinational empire that survived wars and revolutions, that turned information into profit and profit into power. Did they control the world? No. Did they influence it profoundly? Absolutely. Today, when you hear Rothschild, you're hearing an echo of that journey, from ghetto to palace, from prohibition to nobility. It's about vision, information, networks, and timing, and those lessons never expire.